Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our September 10th meeting. This is our strategic planning meeting. So I'm going to call the meeting to order and start off the land acknowledgement. We respectfully acknowledge that the township of Havelock-Belmont-Methuen is located on the Treaty 20 Mississauga territory of the Mississauga and Chippewa Nations, collectively known as the Williams Treaty First Nations, which includes Curve Lake, Hiawatha, Alderville, Scugog Island, Rama, Beausoleil, and Georgina Island First Nations. The Township of Havelock-Belmont-Methuen respectfully acknowledges that the Williams Treaties First Nations are the stewards and caretakers of the lands and waters in perpetuity, and that they continue to maintain this responsibility to ensure their health and integrity for generations to come. I'll ask everyone to make sure your cell phones are off or on vibrate so it doesn't disturb the meeting. And the purpose of the meeting is a special meeting with regards to the strategic plan. This meeting is open to the public to observe the proceedings, So declaration of peculiar interest, if it arises, you can declare it then. I don't see anything before me. And the business, Valerie Sleuth is here from Praxis Consulting. So I'll welcome Valerie. And we'll carry on. So I'll turn it over to you, Valerie.
Okay, thank you all for the opportunity to present to you today. It seems like a long time ago that we've seen each other, but that's how summer goes, isn't it? It seems like we just take a little bit of a hiatus and then we're back in again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to present to you the outcomes of the discussion we had in the Recreation Center and get your approval, get your edits, whatever we need to do. If you wouldn't mind, if we could just do a quick around the table so I can do a sound check and get to know kind of where everybody is sitting. So if you don't mind, maybe starting with the mayor and going clockwise, that would be great, just with names so I can.
Okay, hopefully we don't screw up on the clockwise, but anyways, I'm Jim Martin, mayor. Next to me,
Leah Hutton.
Sorry, first name again?
Leah Hutton.
Thank you.
Hart Webb, Deputy Mayor.
Hi, Hart.
Kathy Clement, Councilor at Large.
Nancy.
And Kathy.
Oh, sorry, Kathy. See, that's why we do this. Thank you.
I'm going to take Councillor Doherty's idea. It's Lionel Towns, treasurer.
Sorry, first name again?
Good work. Lionel Towns, treasurer.
Hi, Lionel. Yeah.
Peter Lawson, Manager of Public Works.
Thank you, Peter.
Sherry Godstrack, Economic Development.
Hi, Sherry.
Ray Haynes.
And was it Ray?
Ray, yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Ray. Yeah.
Josh Story, Supervisor of Parks, Rec and Facilities.
Okay, and sorry, first name again was?
Josh.
Josh, thanks.
Travis Towns, Chief Building Official.
Travis.
Jerry Doherty, Counselor.
Hi, Jerry.
Beverly Flagler, Counselor.
Sorry, first name again?
Beverly.
Oh, hi, Beverly. Thank you. And then Bob.
Yep, Bob Angione, Chief Administrative Officer and Clerk. Valerie, can you hear me okay?
I can.
Does it work better with the microphone? Hello, can you hear me better now?
It works better with the microphones for sure. So
Okay.
thank you. Thank you if you can just speak into the microphone. I do like doing a round table just so I get a sense of who's speaking when and a bit of a sound check before we start. So this was great. Thank you all. I also have with me Jill Depker, who takes notes on my behalf. So she's here as well. She's got her screen muted, but if we have any trouble, we'll be reaching out to Jill. So, okay, I am going to share my screen.
Perfect. Val, we don't have any paper in front of us today, so we're going to be relying on your screen and you can walk us through this.
Okay, sounds good.
Perfect.
Okay. I'm assuming everybody's had a wonderful summer. Just while I'm getting this together. All right. So what we're going to do today is we're going to walk through the draft strategic plan. So what I've done is I've taken the information that we gathered in the group meeting and putting forward in front of you a draft plan. Of course, you need to own this. You need to be comfortable with it. So if we get into changing any wording, I'm completely comfortable with that because it's yours. It's not mine. I'm just putting in front of you the starting point, and hopefully it's close. We'll see what happens. So we'll do, again, a review of the strategic planning method, which you've seen from me previously, but I do find it's useful to go through it a few times before so that people really get it. Then we'll do a review of the township strategy map. And then we'll do the balanced scorecard and then next steps. So the strategy map is the full plan on a page. You would have seen an example of that when I met with you last time. The balanced scorecard is the measures. And within this, I'm actually also going to have a little bit of a governance conversation about what you want to put on your plan from a governance perspective. We did not get to that in the group, so we need to cover that off today if you wish. Any questions before we get going?
None here?
So the strategic planning method that we're using, just a reminder that your strategic plan is an intended course of action, which means it's intended. It can change. Things can change over time. It defines success and the priorities necessary to achieve that success. It's time limited and it informs your budgeting. So when you sit down to think about where you're going to allocate resources, your strategic plan should be a good source of indication as to where you want to spend money. And then lastly, it should be measurable. So what I'm putting forward in front of you today meets all of these criteria. The one thing that I do like to emphasize all the time is the word intended. So knowing that we have to arrive at something, it doesn't mean that it's static for the next 3 years. We can make modifications, but it's what you intend to do today. Okay. I encourage you to stop me at any point with a question. Bob, maybe you can watch for hands going up or indications of somebody wanting to make a comment. Or, of course, Mayor Jim, you can do that as well. So I'll leave it up to the two of you to let me know, okay?
Yep, sounds good.
So we have the strategy triangle, and you'll recall we had this conversation in the group. Essentially, what we've got in a strategic plan is we have an internal vision. What do we want the organization to be? What do we expectation of HBM in the next 3 years accomplish? We have a mission, which is our job. We have our values, which is what's important to us. We have a strategic imperative, which is the highest level measure that we're all moving toward. Then we build out strategy priorities and goals, progress indicators, and actions. Okay. So the gray area is typically the responsibility of council, and the administration is typically in the blue area. Then we have what's called, I call it the negotiated process, which is the dark gray area, where we have council and administration overlapping. And that's what today is about, is really making sure that council and administration have negotiated this plan and that you're comfortable with where it's landed. So everyone is in agreement. And it's great to see that we've got all of the lead managers from HBM in the room today so that we've got their input as well. In the background, you have something called a hope and dream, which is kind of that external vision. What is our want for our community? It's bigger than you. I'm going to talk to you about that. I'm just noticing, I have to tell you, I'm having an internet problem, so I'm having to use my hotspot. I'm just noticing that my phone is running out of battery, so I'm going to plug it in. Give me one moment and I'll come right back. Just give me a second.
Is that your agenda?
Yeah.
Okay, so click on the agenda and then the link is there.
Okay.
So there it is. Well.
Okay, so sorry about that. I've got somebody here fixing my modem and the timing is not the best, but it is what it is. So when we get through the strategy triangle, we're looking for 4 things to come out of it. We're looking for satisfied community members. We're looking for good financial success, efficient processes, and a capable team. So I'm just going to spend a moment on that right here. So 4 things. One is that our customers are happy. So in your case, that's really your citizens, your stakeholders, and we use the term rights holders in addition to stakeholders when we talk about Indigenous communities. On the financial side, we're both looking for sustainability. Sustainability meaning, are we in good financial health? And then also growth. Where is additional resources going to come from in the future? We want good, efficient processes. So in our strategy, we define a few processes that we want to focus on in the next term, in the term of the strategy. And then we want to make sure that our staff is motivated, is capable, but generally speaking, also our people. So that means you folks that are counselors. We want to make sure that you're feeling capable and competent in your work. So if those 4 things are all working well, we have what's called a balanced organization. And that plays out in the terminology of a balanced scorecard. So it's kind of like when you were in school, if you got a report card and you only got a score for math, it wouldn't really tell you overall how you're doing. So we have scores in multiple subjects. And that's kind of what a balanced scorecard is. We have scores in these 4 subjects because they're necessary for a healthy organization. So you can take those 4 things and you can layer them on top of each other like that. So you've heard me talk about this before. We've got our organization or our people at the bottom. So if we have really good people inside the organization, meaning managers, staff, and counselors, and they're feeling competent and capable, we have a better chance at having good, strong operations in the organization. If we're focusing on good operations and the right things and being efficient, we should have good financial outcome. And if all of these are working well, we should be able to serve the people that we want to serve. So they kind of link, and this is what a strategy map looks like. So we take those 4 elements and we think about, all right, let's get them all lined up, make sure we're focusing on the right things. And I'm going to use the analogy of a nice game of Jenga. And when I put a strategy map in front of you, it's going to be full of a bunch of blocks. So think of those blocks as stacking on top of each other, just like what this is. They're stacking on top of each other, and each one of them is important and must be strong in order for us to have a strong strategy tower. So before I introduce your strategy map, are there any questions on the method that we're using here? Okay,
No.
Everybody, it's good review. I know you've all seen this before, but it's good just to keep reviewing these things. But what I'm going to present to you now is your strategy map. Looks like this. Now, I'm going to walk through each one of these blocks. So don't worry about trying to read this right now. I'll take you through. There's a lot of print on this page. But again, think of each one of these blocks on this map as being part of our strategy tower. Here we have the organization or the people across the bottom. And we have the operations on top of that. We have the financial. And we have the customers. At the top, we have those foundational statements. We have external vision, the mission, the internal vision, the values, and that strategic imperative. in the middle, we have all of the deliverables that you want to see within the next 3 years of the plan. So we're going to walk through this block by block.
I think so.
Sorry, question?
Yes, I do. Bev Flagler, counselor. I can't see any of that stuff that's up there. Is there any way that you can send that email so that I can pull it up on my screen? And I know
So
you said it doesn't matter, but it kind of does.
Well, it doesn't matter right now because I'm going
Okay.
to blow it. I'm going to blow it up for each one of these. I'm going to blow up and walk you through it.
Yeah,
So-
that's. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. When we agree on the strategy map, then we're going to produce something called a balanced scorecard. It looks like this. So again, you've got your people across here. You've got your operations here. You've got your financial here. Then you have your customers or your impact here. And we'll build measures to support each of those. I'll take you through a draft that we've produced for you today to make sure that I'm not going to show you the draft right now because it's very, very small, but we'll work through that after we've worked through the strategy map. Okay, so we're going to start with the strategy map. And as I said, I'm going to work you through each line. Here it is again. We're going to start with the foundational statements at the top. Here they are. These are the foundational statements. So we have an external vision, we have a mission, we have a vision, and we have values. So I'm going to walk you through each one of these lines. We're going to start with the external vision. So what is an external vision? It is a collective aspiration for what you want for your community. So if everybody were in HBM was working toward the same thing, that's the vision we're working toward. So it's bigger than you. It communicates what's important to you, and it encourages others to join in. So I want to be really clear. It is not specific to your organization. It's for the community. It's your vision for the community as a whole. Okay. The internal vision is going to be about where you want to go as an organization, as a municipal operation. So I'm going to walk through all of these foundational statements and show them all to you. Then I'll put them all on the screen and we can talk about them all together and you can change them as you wish. So in terms of the external vision, what I did was we had this exercise in the room. So I pulled all of the words that you felt strongly about. And we ended up with, we are proud of our vibrant, naturally beautiful, welcoming community and the unmatched quality of life that is possible in HBM. So we spent some time writing this when we were in the room, and then I just modified it a little bit to make it tighter and more succinct. I'll give you a moment. We're going to discuss all of them together, so I'll open it up for questions after. And then the next foundational statement is your mission.
Breaking up.
Somebody gonna tell her there's nothing.
So
It's
the
breaking up, Valerie.
mission statement is the
Valerie, we can't understand.
part of that big vision that you
I'm just going to message her and let her know that she's breaking up.
Thank you.
So what is she?
So it's every day of this fire hall. Yes. It's the dial-up internet with the screen on.
She screen shared and shut her video off at the same time. So, yeah, maybe she should shut her video off and try.
Can you see her? Or is it just,
Frozen. She's frozen. I wonder if she shuts her video off and just does the screen share.
okay, I'll let her know that and see how that works.
You know what I mean? Well, that's what I'm just saying, I saw that, I'm like.
Yeah. I think she's trying to. Joe is her. No, I think. It's probably the repair guy, he shut it off.
So Jill, is she trying to sign back in?
I'm just contacting her right now. I'll let you know if she needs to get pulled back in if you don't see it.
You have good sound there, so she should be using yours.
Okay, you missed. You ever listen to the? There she is. On YouTube? It is not on, I don't know. On the movie.
Wasn't that
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Apologies. I think that's the only time this is going to happen. The person I had in just fixing the router just managed to transition it. So I think we're in good shape. Apologies. Okay. All right. So again, the mission statement is really just a definition of your business. So we worked on this in the session, and where we landed was here. HBM is a municipal corporation governed by elected officials. We serve residents, businesses, and visitors through the sorry?
Sorry, we're just seeing the agenda.
Okay, sorry, let me switch. It's not changing slides, eh?
No.
Okay, was it before?
Yeah, it had everything before.
How about now?
Yeah, there you go.
Feel
Mission
like,
statement.
feel like it's an eye test. How about now? Can you see? Okay, so I'll go back here. So HBM is a municipal corporation governed by elected officials. We serve residents, businesses, and visitors through the provision of public works, land use planning, emergency services, public facilities and recreation, and economic development. So what this is doing is it for anybody who goes onto your website, they'll know very, very clearly who you are, what you do, and who you serve. That's the intent of a mission statement. People get a little bothered sometimes because it can be lengthy. Keep in mind, if you want to have any kind of a tagline or promotional line, you can do that. But your mission statement is not the place for a tagline. It's the place to have really good clarity as to what you do. We'll carry on. Then we have the vision for HBM. So this is, who do you desire to be as an organization? It's future oriented, it's aspirational, and it guides the use of your resources. So this is specific to HBM. And the work that we did landed here. HBM is a unified township experiencing steady growth. We are investment ready and fiscally stable. We ensure community attractiveness through environmental protection, attention to community aesthetics, and economic development. So we pulled out the keywords from what was shared in the meeting and pulled it into one statement. And then I'll take you through one last foundational statement before we visit them all. And that is your value statements. So value statements are things that are basically indisputable. You all agree These are the values you've created for this organization. They are the underpinnings of all your decisions, and they govern how you run the organization. And where you landed on your values were here, so 5 of them. Integrity, respect, achievement, transparency, and collaboration. And what I've done is when we created these values, there were lots of words on the wall. So I pulled the additional words underneath to make statements. So under integrity, we are accountable, ethical, and honest in our governance and operations. Respect, we are fair, approachable, and empathetic to the needs of those we serve. Achievement, we get things done in a timely manner and fulfill our commitments. Transparency, we communicate openly with those we serve. And then collaboration, together, we are better together and pride ourselves in being a strong partner. So I'm going to, the next one actually is the, oops. Oh, Jill, just looking for the foundational statements on one page here. You there, Jill?
Yeah, I'm there. I will get those in right now. I'm not sure what happened.
Seems to have lost that. Oh, here it is. We'll just come back to this one. Thank you. So all of the foundational statements now are on one page. Let me ask, is this big enough for you to read if I have them all on one page like this?
Yeah.
Yeah, Beverly, are you okay with that?
Yes, I'm okay.
Good. Okay, so let's open this up for discussion. I've taken you through all 4, explained to you what they are, and let's talk about it now. Why don't we start with external vision? Are there any comments on the wording?
Deputy Mayor Webb had something.
Yeah, sorry, I started this already, Val, but just the word unmatched. I'm wondering if there might be a better word for.
Yeah, do you have a suggestion?
Not at the moment, that's what I've been thinking.
How about unique?
Yeah, but that's kind of like, that's, the connotation with unmatched is, it could be good and bad in terms of it.
Oh.
And unique, I look at the same way in terms of,
Sure.
you know, just because something unique doesn't necessarily mean it's a good unique.
Right,
So,
I see that. Okay.
I was looking more of a positive word there in terms of.
Yeah, what about desired?
Yeah, that's how, whoever said that, thank you very much, Jill.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jill.
The unmatched desired quality.
So we would
No,
Take unmatched.
take out unmatched.
Take out the unmatched. I think that was the word that was.
No. I have to read the whole thing.
Quality of life. That is fine.
So any other comments?
At the end be with. And community with desired quality with.
Why can't we,
And excellent.
why don't we just take the unmatched and the desires out, period, and just go right to the quality of life that is possible in HBA?
There you
That's a
go.
good idea.
I like that.
Yeah.
Good one, Jerry.
I'll second the motion.
Did you hear that, Valerie?
Just froze again.
You killed it, Jerry.
Yeah, actually very.
I don't think it's possible.
I don't know if that's, there's specificity to it though, because then you start welcoming it. Specificity, that too. Welcoming
Could you
community.
repeat the
And-
adjustment and I can make it if Val's frozen?
Well, the one thought was to take out the unmatched and desired and just have the quality of life that is possible in HBM, but we were just discussing around that, if that says what it's supposed to say then.
Mm,
I'm not a fan of possible.
That is impossible.
No, I don't like possible, no. Is there a different word for possible?
It's.
Yes, sir.
That is.
See, I'm sitting here saying that, I'm sure you sit here and keep on.
You guys.
Yes, because we'll be here for hours.
It's good.
It's fine, I get, my doctor's gonna dance thing, it's fine.
so you're questioning the word possible right now?
That was, yeah, like the whole context of it.
The whole end of the sentence. I'm just waiting. Oh, it starts on.
So it would just be unmatched, like, so you want to sound like or unmatchable or whatever is what you're having trouble with that word.
Yeah,
And it's kind of a bit much, I think it's a bit over the top, right? Like maybe for the Hamptons, somebody said. Well, I'm just being honest.
Sorry?
What if we said an enviable quality of life? I like the possible, actually referencing the art of the possible. A lot of communities don't have the natural assets that we have, so it's a quality of life that a lot of townships would pursue.
She working on it.
I think you're.
Oh, okay.
You
So
working
using
on that?
enviable rather than possible?
Can we get it back up on the screen?
Yeah, Val, are you able to share?
It's a high quality of life, that is, whether it would take possible or whatever.
Say it again.
I just gonna say, what if you just take that match and put instead of that, put a high in front of it. So, and the high quality of life, that is, whether you want to take possible or just say. That is available in HVM or. Or exists in HBM.
Yeah, because it already exists, it's not.
On the line.
Does that work for everyone, what we have? To take out enviable is what I'm hearing?
Somebody suggested about exists in HBM. But yeah,
Oh,
'cause
that's nice.
Here.
Good going here.
Very nice,
I
Peter.
get all jealous looks from Ray over there.
Yeah.
now Ray feels like he's got a match.
He's the teacher's pet.
Are we comfortable with that now? We can come back to it.
Yeah, it's good.
I think it says everything.
Yep, that's good.
Okay, let's move down to the mission statement then. Any comments here? Oh, it should be the provision of.
That's pretty basic for any municipality anyways, I think.
Yeah, I mean, what you do is really different than what other municipalities do, right?
I don't know about that, but yeah.
Maybe the way you do it might be. The services are pretty consistent. Yeah. Okay, let's go to vision.
Yep, Art Web has something for that.
Just the unified. Sounds
Yeah.
like, makes it sound to me like at least some point we weren't unified.
So this is your,
Yeah,
Well, I get that in terms
so
of.
they call us a hyphenated community, still, like, cause there's not many of us left anymore, so that's just a
I'm
different.
gonna throw out a word that I don't know, whatever, but. So instead of unified, diverse. Like my tongue.
No, I don't think.
You're not sure that.
Wait,
No.
yeah.
Say that.
so the term unified came from bringing the three entities really into a seamless.
I just want to get it.
So by bringing the unified in there, like we've been trying to be all one anyways, so maybe by leaving that out of there, we're just HBM now, we're not really the unified that has always been a big thing where we're Havelock-Belmont-Methuen. It seems like the last few years we've been trying to be one, so HBM.
Does unified not classify as one?
Yeah, but do you really even have to show that we're just HBM, we're not, like I say, we used to be, the big thing used to be we were one of very few left with the hyphenated name. Everybody converted to one name where we're still Havelock-Belmont-Methuen, but we've been trying to just kind of override that with we're just Havelock, like HBM in general. Like I don't think we need to exaggerate, like,
Yeah.
express the unified.
So leave unified in then is what I'm hearing.
Is,
It doesn't even, we're just wondering if it even needs to be in there, but then some say it should be in there, so that's just it's what's everybody's thoughts here?
I think it's okay, and
Okay,
that's my done.
so two are in anyways.
What about replacing it with simply rural, we're a rural township?
That's,
It's broad, it'll never
I just don't like
change.
the term unified to
Yeah.
me, there's connotations to
It's
that.
flag.
As I said, like if you're stating now that you're unified, at some point you weren't, or maybe you still aren't. Right, you know, in terms of vision statement, we're supposed to be.
Supposed to be unified.
we're supposed to be unified, yeah.
Yeah, but to the mayor's point, it's already assumed that we're unified. And by saying we're unified, you're bringing that in, like,
But that
if you're a
means we're all
township,
unified.
no matter what township it is I go to, I would assume they're unified. And if I saw that in something like that, I would say, what, did they used to be two communities? Like, what did they used to?
But we did used to be two communities and in actual
25
fact,
years
we're
ago.
3.
25 years
If you
ago.
wanna put
25
cottagers
years
as
ago.
So
one.
let's do a show of hand on the unified, who wants to see the unified stay in there and doesn't have a problem with it? So,
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, I do.
okay, I don't have a problem. And 3. Okay, and then let's just do this, should we have something else without saying rural, should there be something else in there or nothing? Who would like to see something else in there?
I don't even think we're a township, I think we're a municipality, are we?
Okay, so
I don't, yeah, I don't care if it gets changed or just pulled out. I just don't like the term unified. That's just my position in terms of. So if it stays out, use rural, then that's.
So let's do the show of hand on the rural. Who would like to see the rural in there instead of unified? Is there any show of hands?
Just leave that.
Okay. So, and then the last question is to pull unified out of there and just have nothing in there. Well, let's see a show of hands on that. Who would like to see it just have nothing in there, just the
So I do sort of agree. Why can't we just say HBM is a municipality experiencing growth? Like, why just say,
Yeah.
why don't we just say HBM is a municipality experiencing steady growth? That gets away from the.
Is everybody
unified
okay with that?
intelligence.
That kind of covers it. Take the unified rural township and just put municipality in there, Valerie. Would that work?
That gets you away from the.
And take the rural and township out of there.
Okay. Is there any adjective you want to put ahead of municipality to make it sound a little bit more vision-y?
Vibrant? You already have that.
Well, if you're gonna use that, I would use the word, put the word rural in front of it.
Vibrant?
No, rural in front of municipality, yeah.
Now, we have vibrant up here. Okay, well, we can just leave it then. Does that sound like what we want over the next 3 to 5 years?
We're just discussing whether rural could be in front of the municipality. I don't know what everyone's thoughts are there. Or just leave it as it is.
Well, definitely rural. I mean, that's one of the things we.
Yeah. So is rural okay in there? I'll ask that. Is that go around the table? Is it okay to leave rural municipality? I got a mix of both. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
Okay.
I don't know.
No, we need to just, if that's okay with everyone, we'll leave it at that.
I'm not happy with that. I don't want rural in there. It makes us sound so small and puny. I mean, we are vibrant, we are busy, but I mean, yeah.
Okay.
That's fine.
If we were trying to talk us up, wouldn't we say something like maybe exciting?
Top part,
That works.
vision. It's our vision.
Yeah.
What's. We just leave it out of there and just leave municipality and just leave it.
People like an exciting to be put in there?
Does anybody like to leave the exciting in there?
Are visions to be exciting?
Well, yeah, I don't, well,
I'm just.
just drop the exciting, drop the rural, and we'll move on here. Update.
Yeah.
Well, it's actually very important that we, make sure that it's the correct vision that we all have. So I think any comments that anybody's making are very.
We will be coming, before you finalize, we will be coming back if
Yeah.
something comes up, Valerie.
Absolutely.
Somebody might think of something. Sherry has a comment.
Just a question about, isn't it beneficial that there is continuity between the external and our vision? So vibrancy is perhaps an overused term, but it is a highly recognized term in terms of individuals looking to invest or move to a vibrant community, which is perhaps another way of saying exciting, welcoming, engaging. So HBM is a vibrant municipality experiencing steady growth.
Yeah, you can put that in for sure.
Thoughts?
Thoughts with that part of it.
There's lots. Word uses. So our community to the east here uses the word vibrant, rural, sustainable and inclusive. Mhm.
So
Would you like to just hold it for a moment and then we'll come back?
yeah,
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, just go with it.
Let's go to values. So are people okay with the 5 bolded words as being the values? And then we'll look at each of the statements.
Exciting, vibrant municipality. Within the rural.
Do the five words resonate for you? Are you comfortable with those?
Yeah,
Okay, so let's look at the wording underneath. So integrity, we are accountable, ethical, and honest in our governance and operations.
we hope so.
Sounds okay? So what I did was the words accountable, ethical, and honest were all on the wall. So I've built them into the statement.
Yeah.
We are fair, approachable, and empathetic in the needs of those we serve. So the words fair, approachable, and empathetic were all on the wall. That's okay?
Yeah,
We get things done in a timely manner and fulfill our commitments.
someday.
Sound like what you want it to say?
It would be nice.
Sounds like what we want to do.
We work towards that, but I'm not really sure if we're a timely manner. That's okay, though.
Yeah, that's good.
We communicate openly with those we serve.
I think those
And if I
values are good. I think those values will go on the wall behind me here, and then every time we're having our debate, we can read these things and say, oh yeah, that's what.
That's what we are.
Sure would be helpful, wouldn't it?
I've just made it grammatically correct by adding this. I don't know if it matters to anybody, but if you have any English teachers, they're gonna tell you it's not correct unless I put that in there.
Yeah.
We are better together and pride ourselves in being a strong partner.
Good.
Okay. So I'm going to come back to vision after. I'm going to move us along. The next thing that we need to talk about then is your strategic imperative, which is here. So think of your strategic imperative as a really big goal, a really big measure that you want everyone to rally around. So if you were to post one thing on the wall at the HBM office, it would be your strategic imperative. So you want everybody thinking about it all the time. And where you landed was citizen satisfaction. So what you want to do is you want everybody to be focused on making sure that we're satisfying the needs of citizens. And I will talk to you when we get to the balanced scorecard about how this can be measured, but it is very possible to measure this. This is where we landed in the session. Are we still feeling comfortable with that?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to take you to the 3-year deliverables. So maybe I'll just remind you of where this sits on the strategy map. So we've got the big strategy map here. We've just gone through all of the foundational statements up here. And the strategic imperative, where I'm taking you now, is the deliverables, which is this line in the middle. Okay.
That's really hard to read. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, no, I'm going to show you it. Here we are. So these are your deliverables, and we divided them up into 5 categories. And these 5 categories directly map to the mission statement. So if you recall, the mission statement referenced public works, land use planning, emergency services, community facilities and recreation, and then economic development. So we're lining everything up with the mission statement, so it's really clear. So in public works, what we said we would get done in the period of this plan is water and well expansion, wastewater and master plan and treatment plant capacity expansion, stormwater master plan, and then road needs study and construction plan and implementation. You can probably pick a Oh, it is a road needs study and reconstruction plan, comma, and implementation. Okay, so let's stop there. Does that sound like what we want to get done within this strategy for public works?
One question, Valerie?
Yeah.
Did you hear me? Everything on the public works, fine. When it's being implemented, are we going by the first one, or is it like, can we do the bottom one first? Like, can all that be switched as? Yes, okay. Thank
No
you.
order of priority.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So with that, the wastewater treatment or the wastewater master plan and the water, like there's a lot of water stuff on there, and I just wonder if some of that could be amalgamated together, so it's, doesn't look like, you know, 4 out of the 5 things are all water and sewer, and like roads are, I would think roads are the biggest part that we're doing for the whole township. And then the other things are more directly in the village, but I don't know if it needs to be broke out that much, or if some of that could be merged together. I don't know, just a question.
Are they separate projects, or do the projects go together?
Well, the water and well expansion and the master plan, I'm sure are gonna come together. They're kind of similar. Like part of the master plan will include the water and well expansion, I would think, would it not, Peter? Or are they separate?
They're kind of all separate.
Okay,
Yeah. Yeah, like the master plans maybe could be grouped together, but the storm, they're all separate infrastructure entities, so.
okay. Good.
So keeping them separate then?
Yeah,
Okay. Are we missing anything in here? Or anything else that we need to get done in public works?
Yes, we don't need
Isn't
that.
George Street, shouldn't George Street be on there? Or is that all part of the roads plan? The road needs study and reconstruction.
yeah,
Yeah, I would think that would be in the roads need study and the reconstruction part of the infrastructure too, yeah.
Right, so that's the whole of George, all the way down to Mary, correct?
If that's in the 3-year plan.
Did we not talk about that at the time that it was already underway as opposed to futuristic? It was point in time now. And I recall that's why we didn't put it on there.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure. My memory's
Oh, okay.
not good.
So it's not George Street on there then?
Well, it would be included as part of the roads.
Yeah.
Roads need study,
reconstruction plan.
reconstruction.
Yeah, well, that sounds like county, the roads outside of town and possibly maybe King Street Road.
Well, the George Street Road is really county. It's the infrastructure that's the town, that's the municipality. So
Yeah, I think it's in there, like,
Okay.
so that's good, Valerie, I think.
Okay. Moving on then, land use planning. So we said we would finalize the new official plan, overhaul the comprehensive zoning bylaw.
Someday the official plan will get done.
Talking
Okay.
close to
Under-
maybe now.
Under emergency, we said we would do equipment and vehicle replacement as per the asset management plan.
Yeah.
Okay, and then there's quite a bit under recreation. So sport complex. Wasn't sure, there were several suggestions, so I wasn't sure. I think this needs to be further defined. There was the fitness center, rail upgrades, the West End Park renewal, the long-term care facility, the medical center, and the AOTA compliance. So there's lots in here, and I just took what I could get out of the flip charts and the notes, but I feel like this needs a little bit more definition.
Some of those things are underway, probably by the time this gets finished, some of them might be done, I don't know.
Long-term care.
Mhm.
Done.
So at that time, do you take them off of there, Val, like when they do get complete, these are those things that you review it every year and clean it
Well,
up?
if I mean, this plan would be in place starting when do we want this plan to be active? I should just ask that first.
As soon as possible.
Yeah, as soon as possible to get a little bit of life out of it.
Okay, so then if we're doing it right now, I would leave it in. If it's not completed, it can stay in.
Yeah.
Well, we seem to be inconsistent with Public Works and community, because we got Public Works, we said we're taking up projects that are underway. And then community facilities, we got projects in there that are underway.
Okay, so you just decide how you want to deal with that and we'll adjust it. Do you want projects underway in, or do you want?
Some of them are long-term projects, like, so they're underway, but they're, just in the early stages, but the trail upgrades there, Deputy Mayor Webb was just saying, like, that's not too many more upgrades to do, so that one could almost come off of there, I think. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
like, we'll still be doing work in that property, but I mean, a lot of it will just be tinkering. I don't think there'll be any, unless we get, big grant money for a project, there won't be any major upgrades going on there.
Was the West End Park, is that for the parking lot? Is that
I,
what you're talking, like renewal? I'm not understanding West End Park renewal.
Yeah, like,
What was that
I
all?
think it was a discussion about what we're gonna end up doing there with it. So,
We're gonna put in some parking spots, weren't we? Didn't we talk? Possibility?
yeah, or taking the park out or leaving it in or fixing it up or putting a dog park. There was all kinds of things discussed for what could go on there, but nothing had ever been decided, so.
some of these will be on the radar for the next council too, because that's some of the idea of this, it's gonna carry into the next term or the next council.
Yeah.
So at least they'll have a vision of where we were thinking or where we were going. And so it doesn't hurt to keep some of that, like even that West End Park, something's gonna have to be done eventually.
Okay, but define West End Park renewal. What was that?
We haven't decided. That's what I said.
Yeah, there will be some discussion around what we're gonna do, like it's,
Well, what were we renewing?
don't
That's
know.
what it says, West Park renewal. If none of us get in 2 years, they're gonna look at that and go, well, what's the renewal for the West Park Inn? That's all I'm
How
saying.
about changing the word to upgrades?
well, is it not tied into like the new sports field? Because we can't do a renewal on West End until we know we're going to get that to reutilize the West End, to revitalize it.
I think that's why it was in there, because I don't think even when we were talking about this with the sports field, we weren't that far along. So we kind of had both ideas going, and now we're kind of moving on the sports field.
Okay,
So
that's a little better upgrade. At least then people will think, oh, we just have to upgrade it.
Yeah, no, I agree. If we're done with that, what is the medical center, or is that, I'm not sure what that means. Is that polishing that sign we got up there now, or it's a new one, or like, I'm not sure, what was our thinking? What was our thinking? Can't remember actually.
I think just putting it out there on the list to see, because we were just listing things, but to your point. I
oh,
think,
in your medical center, yeah.
yeah. In terms of priorities, that's probably to me one that could come off, right? I don't know if
Is
you-
there
or-
not plans already for a medical center though with the long-term care? Is that where that's coming
But
from?
there hasn't been, I don't think we're moving on anything there, but the medical center will be a discussion in the future, I think, but so it's just, it's there, as much as it's there. Yeah, it'll be, who knows where it's gonna fall out on.
All right, let's go economic development.
So I just put the word vision, so in the next 3 years, you would just basically get a
Yeah.
sense of what you want to do with it. Okay, let's go back up to the top and just make sure we're gonna work through each one of these. So in terms of sport complex, what are we doing? Are we upgrading it? Are we retrofitting it? What are we doing with the sport complex?
Building brand new.
Creating a,
I think it was more of a sports field or something like that. It wasn't a complex as much as a, what was it called?
What it is kind of a I mean, I know what you mean,
Yeah.
but complex to me is a building, but complex can mean outside stuff. So I
Okay.
guess too, right?
Yeah, so it's,
Field, I'd put field inside.
Or slash field.
yeah, complex slash field, I guess. Like it's a
Why don't we just go
it's a
outdoor?
redevelopment of a property, but there's not, like, yeah, complex makes me think of a building.
Yeah. So why don't we
There's
say,
no
oh,
building there.
why don't we say sport outdoor complex? So it's, knowing that it's not a building. Would that work?
Okay. The other things that were in there, the baseball and pickleball and that, I think it can stay in there still, can it? Or you just want to leave it as complex?
I wouldn't,
Didn't like the word complex.
What's that?
Oh, we did, I thought you took out complex.
no, I left complex. It says sports outdoor complex.
What about outdoor sports complex, just to reverse the order?
Okay,
Everybody's thoughts on that?
I'm actually okay with that one.
Hmm?
I don't mind that one. It makes more sense.
Is everybody okay with that?
you want you want the sports in there?
Yes,
Yeah.
please.
You do? You want, okay, I'm just concerned that you will create expectations with those groups.
What?
What? Sorry.
I beg your pardon?
With the groups.
Oh, sorry, I just didn't hear it.
What we're putting up there, whether or not all
That's
that will end up getting, right?
Yeah, I just didn't hear the word groups.
Right, it's the same thing as putting George Street over here, right? It's getting into the detail.
Valerie, can we change it to softball instead of baseball? There's an expectation there.
Okay, so we're good with that then? You want it like that?
I think so.
Yeah.
That's good.
Okay, fitness center, what are we doing there?
Still a work in progress.
It's an addition to our arena. That's in,
We want to complete it in this plan?
yes.
Or
Yeah.
we just, well, let's just leave it at that. Then the West End Park upgrade, we're good with that. What about the long-term facility? What do we want to say there? Is that something we're working on in the next 3 to 4 years?
Yeah, we're hoping to have it open next August.
Okay,
So
It's under construction now.
completion,
Okay, yeah, just put completion on the end of that.
okay. Medical center, vision, we're okay with that?
It's gonna come up in the next year or two, but we're not there yet. It's like, it's. So I don't know whether it needs to be on there for the next council, but I'm sure it'll be a topic of conversation.
So do we want it on here or do we want to take it off?
It's up to the group or what do you want? I
I
think
think leave it on because I'd still like to see a medical center in Havelock. Which we did have one, but they don't have it.
Okay, and this, are we okay with this last one?
It's mandatory, isn't it?
I'm not sure what that is.
what's the
What is
acronym?
it?
What's that?
Something, Ontario Disabilities Act.
Oh, accessibility, okay.
Accessibility, yeah, and that's
Yeah.
mandatory, isn't it?
Okay, yeah.
I don't even know why it's on there. It's legislated.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
I mean, just because of the time frame, because it's next year, isn't it?
Yeah, 2025.
Okay. So yeah, like it's something we have to do, like, I don't know whether it needs to be on there or not, but
Well, look at it.
We're working
Are we close to being ready for this? Like, it's up next year. I mean, how many of these things do we have to cross off in the next year and a half? I don't know. So
yeah, we got a
I'll
lot.
look to the managers for that. Answer that question.
$500 for this building.
We are bringing a lot towards 25 budget for accessibility.
Okay,
So I don't think it's a surprise that it's done, is it? I mean, I think the municipality's got notification of when it was, and it was to be brought up to date.
Yeah.
To arrive at the conclusion, so. If we've waited till the last year, it's gonna be a bump.
yeah. But might as well stay on there to be compliant, because we're working towards it, so we're not there yet, so that can be something that can be reviewed afterwards. Once we get there, it can come off hopefully.
Okay. Anything that we're missing under 5.4?
And you can take out vision where it says medical center. I think that'll fume a lot of people in town.
So what is it? What are we doing with the medical center? I don't think you want to give the idea that you're actually building it in the next 3 years.
Well, there are people in town that believe that there are plans for that medical center, so whether there is or not, I have no idea. And I'm not sure where we're going with medical or not. So I don't know how you want to word that.
What about if you just do it as a feasibility assessment? So
Okay,
basically deciding if you're going to do it or not.
yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of where we're at now, like whether it's needed or not.
Or would you want to say needs assessment rather than feasibility?
Just keep it general feasibility probably is better, safer.
Okay. Under economic development, so we ended up with 6 here. So investment attraction, which was then to identify a partner, investor, developer.
Good to me.
This
Sherry?
needs,
Okay,
Yeah.
Can we combine 551 with 556 and simply say investment attraction and employment lands inventory development?
$551 and what?
The last one.
556.
We can remove the last one.
Inventory of lands for prospective investment.
We can take out identify partners. It's a given.
sound good? Should this be an investment attraction strategy?
It's all tied in with economic development, we have an economic development and tourism strategy that needs to be updated post our strat plan, so. But certainly it's a critical goal, so I would simply leave that, take out your last one, which is inventory lands, it no longer needs to be there.
Okay. Formalize small business advisory services.
That's in conjunction with the county, so.
Revitalize vacant business locations.
I'm not sure on that. Sherry, what did you mean to put that?
Small business advisory services, previously was a shared responsibility with PPED. And now that they're being dissolved, Beaver County will step in with ECDEV and tourism support. So this is to formalize our working relationship and
So
what
it's with ECDEV then, not really the businesses locations.
Are we talking about formalized small business advisory services?
Formalized small business advisory services, meaning, yeah, what are that one and the next one?
So that is what we do, right? So small businesses, if they need, if they're launching a new business, it's to make sure that they have all of the tools to help them to do that, whether that's something that I do on a one-on-one basis or I refer them to another agency. But that's to help them grow. It's helped to establish succession planning.
And the next one, revitalize vacant business location.
I would say revitalize downtown core.
Okay, so that's all part of George Street construction,
Beautification. Mhm.
right?
Okay.
Okay, any other comments on these two?
No, I think that covers it.
Okay, then we have the SIP review.
VIP.
I'm not sure that that has to be on there. That's something that we've got underway, so I would take it out.
What is it anyway?
It's your community improvement plan, your CIP.
Oh, yeah.
It's also tied to our economic development and tourism strategy, so.
So we'll take that off.
You increased it.
We did.
Okay, and then update economic development and tourism strategy study. What's the right word there?
You can take out study, it's the strategy.
Okay. So does that sound correct for economic development?
All right. Okay.
Terry, here.
Yep, I think so. They're lofty, but
Okay.
big goals.
Okay, so let's just take a step back and look at all of this in the next 3 years. Does this look doable?
Yeah. A few on there that are obviously grant dependent, I think, right? But I think a lot of that stuff is. A lot of it we're already kind of working on, so just a matter of shifting into gear.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to take us down to the next line on the strategy map, which is the, oh, we did the strategic imperative already. We did the 3-year deliverables. How come I have that in 2 places? Anyway, Jill, just making sure you know which ones are updated for the final.
Yeah,
Okay,
and I'm updating as we go.
Okay, thank you. So then we can get to customer impact. So what we did here was we defined who our customer was, and then we built a statement that would define what success would look like for that customer. So the customers that you defined were your residents, businesses, and visitors. And then we defined a statement for each one of these. And by the way, these are also referenced in the mission statement. So for residents, we said that HBM provides excellent service and diverse offerings. I receive good value for my tax dollars, was where you landed. On businesses, you said HBM enables a supportive business environment. My business has the best possible opportunity to thrive. And then for visitors, HBM is beautiful and offers attractive amenities to support a variety of experiences. I enjoyed my memorable experience. So these are important because we're going to use them as an evaluation. So when we measure satisfaction, which is your strategic imperative, we're going to use these as the indicators of satisfaction. So let's make sure that we've got the right components in them. So first of all, are we comfortable with residents and the statement underneath?
Where I'm wondering, where does seasonal fit in? Is season, like we're a huge seasonal population, so are they visitors or are they residents or are they both?
That pretty well kicks out that word unity, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
We want to unify, but we want to make them special, special category. I think we want to do this.
Okay.
I think we want to do the same, whether you're here 6 months or 12 months. Do we not?
Okay. I just asked as a question, so.
I would take
Answering this
resident.
question.
Okay.
This is as a resident. They tax,
Okay.
right?
You receive
Okay,
good.
any other comments on residents, the statement underneath?
Just one, I received good value for my tax dollar. Is that possible to take that out, or I'm not understanding the reasoning of.
I think
putting that
that's
in
our
there.
goal, is we try to give as much value as we can for the tax fund, no matter what, it's never gonna be
Is that a
perfect.
goal? Okay.
But I think your goal, we always have the same goal to try and give as much value as we can for what.
So then maybe it should say our goal is to give good value for my tax.
It looks like it's a comment on
It
the end of
does.
each one. A comment from a,
From, oh, okay.
from a,
Aspirational goals?
Well, that's what you want. If you're successful, that's what you want your residents to say about you.
I hear that all the time too, so
Okay, just a question.
I received.
Okay, what, are we comfortable with the statement under businesses?
Yeah, I hope so.
I'm confused. My businesses had the best.
It's somebody else writing that.
It's a ratepayer saying that.
Yeah, it's right there.
Can you interview those people?
And who delivered it? Who's delivering this?
You are. So
Oh,
this is,
I see.
you've identified business as your customer. And then what we said was, if we did a good job for business, what would they say about us? And this is where you landed.
Okay.
Okay, and then what about visitors?
Find a different word from memorable.
For which?
Memorable, different word.
You don't like that word came right out of the session. You guys deferred that word.
I don't know, that's a pretty strong word.
I think it's fun. It's fun.
At least it has enjoyed in front of it. It doesn't say nightmare.
Yeah.
I know from our tourism brainstorming sessions and whatnot, we talk about lasting memories, feelings, what evokes, a memory. That's typically how they measure. And so that's maybe why we played up on that one. Authentic experience.
That's fine, no, it's fine.
Yeah, I think it works. You hope that there was a good memory.
Yeah, or you could say, we made great memories at HBN. I don't know, something like that. Okay, so are we comfortable with all of these then?
That's fine.
Okay. Now, I'm gonna keep moving you down the strategy map. Okay, and I'm going to go to operations now. So the line that was on operations, think about over the next 3 years, the things that we really want to work on in operations. Maybe we're already good at it, but we need to really make sure we stay good at it, or maybe we want to get better at it. And what we defined here was process automation. So we want to automate billing and payment statements, and we want to modernize forms and applications. Planning and performance. The operational plan is aligned with the strategic plan, that we have measures reporting, and that we build a rolling strategic plan. Under communications, we want to update the website and enhance community engagement. And then municipal office, complete plans for a new administrative building. So these were the 4 operational areas that were identified. So I'll open that up for conversation. Let's start with the first one, process automation. Any concerns there?
No.
Okay, planning and performance.
Everybody okay with that?
Okay, communications.
The website we've already updated. I don't know if that's that's an ongoing thing then? Okay.
Just gonna make us.
Engine optimization, things like that.
Like for age.
This is.
Yeah.
Well, that's exactly. Making accomplishment.
It's progress. Okay.
Okay, and then the municipal office. Where we landed there was just the completion of plans and nothing else.
We ordered, didn't we?
It's in process.
But that's what I mean, have we done as much, like Let is working on those plans, are they not?
Yeah.
So I mean, we're done with it.
Well,
There's not much more.
completion of new plans.
Completion of plans.
It's not complete.
We're not gonna, like, there'll be a lot of back and forth once they come as far as it's just started.
Okay. Anything that's missing here?
Money.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lionel's working on the money part of it right now.
All right, I'm going to move us then down to the organizational line. So these are the competencies of the people that we need involved in the organization. And what you defined were 3 areas. One was team development. So we want to build a customer service culture and a competent, motivated workforce. The other was partnership developments. We want to work on contractor/developer relationships, a county relationship, and enhance collaboration within HBM. And then the last one was governance, and we need to take a pause and talk about what you want to put in governance, because that's the one that you folks own. So I'll focus on the first 2 first. Any comments on team development?
Anything for that, Bob? Sherry?
Under 11.2 competent motivated workforce, that would include like meeting certification and designation objectives, like that's all part of that, is it?
And that would come under the competence, so there could be a training and development plan there.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's covering pretty well everything.
Okay. All right, so under governance excellence, what is it that you folks want to work on over the next 3 years in order to enhance the effectiveness of governance?
Give me an example. I'm
So,
not sure.
An example could be, you know, I don't know when you've had your governance policies last reviewed, but a governance policy review. Another could be providing good direction to your CAO. I mean, in theory, you have 1 employee and you want to ensure that you're providing clear direction and you have good policy to support your CAO. That's another example. Another example could be meeting engagement, so ensuring good participation in meetings and good attendance. Another could be the relationships that you have outside, so meeting with stakeholders, meeting with community, participating in community events, so that you're outward looking. One of the things I find with councils is that they're very outward looking during elections. And then after elections, they become very inward looking. And you want to stay outward looking as much as possible throughout the whole term. So those are some examples of things that that typically would end up in this block. But again, it needs to be designed by you.
So is it possible to do a review of the governance? I've never even seen it. Or I probably have misplaced it.
So a lot of the things throughout this strategic plan states what we're trying to do as governance. So going into this part here, I'm not sure what else needs to be in there as far as our goals.
It could also include governance training. If your own, you know, basically over here, we're developing a competent workforce. Over here, we could be developing a very strong council through training and development.
So those are things that we just kind of hope that happens, I guess. I guess if it's in writing, yeah, everybody should be upgrading themselves. Like there is courses there for us to understand how to do a better job. So I just didn't know whether it needed to be wrote down, that's all.
I think it needs to be written down.
Okay. So yeah, the training or upgrades.
Mhm.
Director of Training and Development.
Anything else you'd like to put in here?
Yeah, like it needs more to it, like it's um,
Can you clarify the director of training and development just a bit more?
It's a new position.
schedules, like even like some sort of a schedule, like there should be. Like, I'm not sure, like you say, it just sounds like we're gonna hire a director of training and development, but there should be almost like a schedule of what's expected throughout the term, like, you know, every year we see AMO's training courses and hopefully everybody's taking them.
Mhm.
That's better.
Yeah,
That's better. Thank you.
yeah, the schedule means a lot.
Anything else you would add? That you want to work on as a council?
I think the 1.3.1, if you're doing that, everything else will fall out of there anyways, because that's what you learn in those things on how to get things moving. Has anybody got any other suggestions for their governance? Excellent.
No, I agree, because in the training, that's where you get your accountability and your visibility, and it's in your training, so. I mean, once that's completed and people look at us, then they should know what they're going to expect, right?
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so moving down, so this is everything that we've just agreed to on the 4 elements of the balanced scorecard, except for I haven't done financial. So I just want to just ignore financial for a moment. We've done customer, and I think we agreed on that. We've done processes, operations, and then we've done the I was just updating this as we speak, the organizational. So she's updating what you've just added in. So just again, taking sober second thought, anything in there that concerns you? Any omissions?
Governance excellence, should we add something about communication?
You certainly can. What would you add?
Just that word.
What do you want to do with communication?
Well, good governance means that everybody knows what's going on and you live by the governance that you have, a municipal act being one and so on.
So are you talking communication with community or with each other?
Yes and yes.
Okay. Like that?
I'm okay with it, but I was the one who suggested it, so I.
Okay, any other changes? Okay. So essentially, going back to the strategy map, we've gone through everything now, the exception of financial, and I'm going to take you through financial now. So I'll go back up to here. Sorry, Jill, I'm just a little out of order, but okay. So when we think about financial objectives, we want to think about both sustainability and growth. So sustainability is how do we make sure we stay healthy? Growth is where are we going to generate new revenue to do new things? So where we landed was here. Actually, what I'm going to do is open up the balanced scorecard, show you how this plays out. Sorry. So do I have a link to the balanced scorecard here?
Yep, if you just go down, I believe it's down there.
In which slide?
Give me 1 second. On 45.
45, thank you. Oh, there it is. Okay. To the okay, because it's open on my other screen. Oh my goodness. I'm really having internet problems. It's moving at a snail's pace here. Wow. It just won't open for me, Jill.
Does it help if you leave your video off, Val?
I'm not sure. Oh, there we go. I got it open now. Okay. So I'm going to take you to the financial area. Is this too small for you to read?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So I will make it bigger. Apparently it doesn't like that either. Okay. I'm going to go back to this one. Oh my gosh, it won't move. It's just crazy. Okay, we'll just stay on the slides for now. It's easier.
It's up, Val. You need to go up.
Thank you, Jill. What slide am I going to?
35.
Here we are. Sustain and grow. So we ended up, I think we're missing a couple here. Because I think we had 4 on each side. No. Okay. So what we had was, first of all, the first on the sustainability side was that the taxation levy would remain level with relative to, so that means that taxation would stay relative to inflation, that we would have a funded asset management plan, that we would have a capital reserve for fund maintenance, or sorry, capital reserve fund maintenance, which means maintaining a capital reserve, and that we would have an operational efficiency measure, and I'll show you what that is in a moment. On the growth side, we want assessment of growth. This isn't working well. I'm going to have to go, I'm sorry, everyone. I'm just going to have to open up the balanced scorecard because this is not working well. So maybe you can open it and help me out here.
Yep, of course. I'm just going to steal the screen from you, Val.
You bet.
And are you able to stop sharing?
You know what? I just got it. So maybe I'll just stay here. There we are. Okay. Okay. So it's hard to follow. So here on the financial measures, okay, the first one is that on sustain through taxation levy relative to inflation. So what the measure here would be is that the tax rate increase percentage would stay the same over an average prior 12-month month CPI. So essentially what we're saying here is that if there's an increase in taxes, it goes with the CPI change. So with inflation. Okay, this would allow you to stay sustainable. Now, this was not discussed at the session. This is conversations that that I've been able to have with Bob and Lionel after the session to come back with what we think could be some good measures of sustainability. So just moving over, this would be the responsibility of the treasurer. Right now, it's at about a 1.27 ratio. And what we want to do is we want it to get to a 1 ratio, which means that taxation flows with inflation. Okay, makes sense?
Not at all.
Not at all?
No,
Okay.
not for me anyway. Having the tax rate at an inflation that's written in for the next 3 years. If inflation goes to 5%, so we're going to 5%. If it goes down to 1%, we're only going to have a 1% tax increase. I'll hope for the 1%. I think it's nice if we can tie it in, but I don't see it happening.
One question, Lionel, is this a new process that you've come up with for the next year?
Can say through chair. Well, I guess I should. It's a formal meeting. I think it's been an informal sort of goal to keep, especially in times of increasing inflation, the tax rates, at that. But as Councillor Doherty said, sometimes it's easier than others. So it hasn't been like a codified, firm sort of policy. But I think this is making it a bit more of a goal, having it in the balanced scorecard if council chooses to.
Okay, so it is a change then. You'd like to see this process change for the better of.
Through chair, I think it would be advantageous to make sure that it's always at the forefront of people's minds when they're doing their budgets. We're deliberating about the budgets that, it's the high end where inflation is, and we really should be wary of going anywhere above that. And if we have to, there would have to be a good reasoning for that. That's the idea.
Okay, all right, thank you.
So it becomes a target that you work toward. If you don't hit it, you don't hit it. But that's sort of the philosophy that you would like to have in place.
Yes, and through you, Mayor Martin, just to expand on those comments. This is really not new. This is simply formalizing what we've informally tried to target in the past. When we start talking budgets, we always use that rate of inflation as a guideline. And then we say, do we want to be higher? Do we want to be lower? Do we want to be right at it? We work around that. So this is somehow trying to formalize it so we can have it in our plan and that we have a target to work with every year.
I think the word that's missing out of there though is a target, because I think like Councillor Doherty said, it's not always going to be able to happen. So it's fine. I think we do have a target all the time to work around that, but sometimes it's not possible. Our needs are more than that number. So the target, as long as targets in there, it's something we always have worked around. So in that way, it hasn't changed any, but realistically, it's just a target.
And that's what is stated in here. It does say target, which would be 1, so a 1-to-1 ratio.
As long as not expected.
For guidance.
So that's what we're working toward. I'll go to the next one then, which is a funded asset management plan, which is what every municipality wants, is you want to make sure that you don't get into a situation of deferred maintenance. So you want an asset management, you want your asset management plan to be funded. And so the goal here, the measure would be basically the percentage of the deficit of the 10-year infrastructure asset management plan. So right now you do have a deficit in your asset management plan. And so the goal would be to try and reduce that deficit. And so basically, we would look at about a 2.7% deficit in the first year, and then moving it down to 2.1 in the next year. And then in the next year after that, you would take it down further. But my screen is freezing, 2.1, and we don't have a 1 for 2027 yet. So essentially what's being said here, and you can adjust the targets after today. What I'd like to make sure that we get to is the measures today. So we agree on the measures, is that we would have some sort of a measure on the funded asset management plan. Then the other is a capital reserve plan. So in here you would have a percentage of your the budget that you need available to spend on capital. You would be saving that into a reserve fund. And then lastly, an operational efficiency measure, which could be done by taking your annual salary costs and divide it by the tax revenue billed. So basically what you're getting to here is measuring the salary costs of the municipality against tax revenue on an annual basis and trying to keep that level. So those are the 4 sustainability measures that are being recommended to you in the plan.
So some of those things we have already, but they're just not on paper. So this is on the screen. So this is just, like Bob says, formalizing it.
Exactly. So what happens is this then comes in front of you at every council meeting, and you would get a report on these measures.
Okay.
So let me take you then to the growth measures. So there's 4 recommended growth measures. One was assessment growth. So your current year tax assessment increases. Capital grant revenue. So maximizing capital grant revenue. User fee revenue. So this is something you want to try to advance as much as possible. Obviously, there's pushback on that sometimes, but you can also increase user fees by getting more people using. And then the business tax revenue, which also comes from increasing the number of businesses. So those are the 4 areas that were identified as places where you could grow your revenue.
Okay. Any questions?
What exactly is the user? I'm sorry, what's a user fee? Can you explain? What is that?
So that would be anything that, say for instance, somebody buying a time at the arena,
Okay.
pickleball, slot,
Okay,
anything that we provide that the end user is exchanging money for.
A fee to use.
yep, a fee to use, like baseball, soccer.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, softball.
Water. Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, ice rental.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's good.
Do we currently track the grant revenue from year to year?
Yeah, that gets calculated at the end of the year based on the expenses we've incurred, because we could have 5 million approved, but unless we spend that 5 million, we can't.
No, I understand that you collect it, but I'm just saying, is that collected and presented to council? Because I don't remember ever seeing something like that.
It's presented via the financial statements, but we can do it in a separate report.
Maybe I just didn't go over the financial
Yeah.
statements close
It's
enough
fine.
then, but.
Yeah, that's
Thank you.
where,
Yeah.
that's where we normally go.
Okay, so if we have agreement on these as being the growth and sustainability measures that you would like to see on an ongoing basis, then we will put these into the balanced scorecard is what you're seeing in front of you. And I'll just again move this over. So I'll give you an example. So that's one, the taxation levy. The measure is written down for you. That is here. The method is here. So how would we do that? So if you're confused about how that measure is calculated, the frequency, it would be done annually. The treasurer is responsible. The baseline, so that means that in 2023, it was at a 1.27 ratio. In year one, it would be a 1 ratio. This would be your reporting line. And then you would go to your next 3 years. Target would be 1 again. So for each one of these measures, you will see the target and the actual, as well as the baseline from the previous year. So this is really intended to provide you with really clear information at every council meeting, so that you know where you're at and you don't have to ask these questions because they're put in front of you. Okay. The other place in the balanced scorecard where we've got measures is the strategic imperative. And we talked about it being customer satisfaction. So you're going to want to be measuring that. It's just that important. It's your strategic imperative. And the way that you can measure your client satisfaction is with something called a net promoter score. And a net promoter score is basically, would somebody recommend HBM? Would somebody recommend HBM as being, a well-run municipality, a good place to live? And so it's usually done with a survey, and this is done at many municipalities, and you survey your community members. You'll typically have a few questions. So let's say you ask 5 questions, and then it rolls up into a score, and then that becomes your client satisfaction score or your citizen satisfaction score, sorry. And then you as council get that on an ongoing basis, depending on how often we do it. At this point in time, we're looking at it annually on this sheet. You would get the citizen satisfaction score annually. If it goes down, then you can think, okay, why is citizen satisfaction going down? You might want to run a few town halls and understand why. If it's going up, you can celebrate. Does that seem reasonable?
Yeah.
Okay. Then the customers that you've identified, sorry, was there a comment?
Well, we're the king of surveys here anyway, so we do lots of them.
Kings.
So then under your customers, you identified 3 customer groupings. One was residents. So basically, to assess resident satisfaction, you would use your client satisfaction survey or your citizen satisfaction survey. So it's the same measure, doesn't need to change. The next one is businesses. So in that same survey, you would have people check off, am I a business? And if they're a business, then they would get a different set of questions in that survey. So you can determine if businesses are happy with what they're receiving. And then lastly, probably a bit of a different survey would go to visitors. And this would be done in real time, probably on your website. And real time meaning that people can just click on the website. There's a survey there. They complete the survey and you get a sense of how satisfied your visitors are. So basically what's being recommended here is that you develop 2 surveys, one for citizens, which would also include businesses, and then a separate one for visitors, because that would be, their experience would be unique. So not a lot of measures there, but enough to give you a pulse on how you're doing. How does that sound?
Yep. I think so. Yeah, that's good.
Okay. And then I'm going to recommend 2 more measures to you. And they are in the bottom line of the strategy map around organizational. So it's right here, organizational. Oh, no, actually, there's a few more measures in here. Sorry. Lionel and Bob. Sorry, I didn't keep up with you guys. So under competent motivated workforce, we're going to recommend that you would have an employee engagement survey, and that would be done every 2 years to measure employee satisfaction. You can also measure the credentials of employees, so making sure that employees have the credentials that are needed to do the jobs that they are asked to do. And then the employee self-evaluation. So you'd have an employee performance score where they self-evaluate as well as receive a score from their supervisor. And that would be done annually. So these are really common measures that you would see in any municipality. An employee engagement score is really important for councils because it lets you know just the health of the organization inside, and it gives you accurate information if the organization is functioning well.
If it's important, why is it every 2 years?
Well, you could do it every year if you wanted. It's just that it's about cost, right? So some organizations do it every 2 years. If you want to go every year, you can. I would suggest just maybe determine what the cost is first and then decide. Okay, and then moving down, if I could, under governance, I would recommend, and this is very standard for municipalities, that you would do a council evaluation, and this is a self-evaluation. So each of you fill in a self-evaluation, and then the scores are rolled up, and then council as a whole receives those scores, and you're able to identify areas where you can improve as a council. So it's usually a survey that's done annually, and it just gives you good data on how you perceive you're doing. It's not done by community, it's not done by staff, it's done by you. So those are the typical measures that we do with municipalities and ones that I would recommend. So I'm very careful not to create too many because then you spend your life measuring. We want to keep the measures small, but really meaningful so that they give you information that you need. So any concerns about those?
Not hearing anything, so.
Seems to work. I'm trying to get it all on one screen so you can see all of those. Oh, sorry, I missed a couple. On partnership development, supplier satisfaction, so you can survey your suppliers, and then your county relationships, which is basically the number of county meetings that you attend, which means you try to attend all of them. So that's being measured as well. And those would very largely be done internally. So those would be Bob, as your CAO, would be measuring those. So again, this is what council will see on an ongoing basis, kind of takes the mystery out of things. You know what's going on, and you know what you can expect at council meetings. Okay, so just going back to the slide deck, what we've done so far today is we've updated the strategy map, and we've updated the balanced scorecard. I'm going to go back to the vision statement because we haven't necessarily arrived on that vision statement. And then I want to talk to you about the planning cycle. So just going back up to where we were working on that vision statement. Right here. So I think there was just some debate on whether you wanted that to be exciting or vibrant on the vision statement.
So when we left that, Val, I liked it where we removed rural and left the exciting and vibrant in there.
Vibrant's there twice though, Jim.
What's that?
You're repeating yourself. Vibrant, the word vibrant's already.
It's on the well on the mission, right?
Yeah, but I understand.
Well, if you come up with another word for vibrant, but just, or if you want to say
Oh, that's-
exciting.
Exciting.
Shakingly awesome.
There you go. Yeah.
That'll get them going.
OSM is already awesome, so you gotta come up with that.
Yeah.
Well, you like rural, just leave it as rural municipality, without exciting and vibrant. Mean exciting, define exciting.
He suggested upcoming.
Second.
He suggested upcoming. We're an upcoming municipality.
When?
Mhm.
When?
We're trying, aren't we?
No, I know.
Dynamic.
Yeah, dynamics are great word.
There's Ray's contribution. He's catching up to Peter.
He's on his cell phone, look at that.
He's looking it up.
We know he didn't think of that on his own, on his own.
I spirited.
It was Siri.
I actually like dynamic.
Dynamic, Ray wins it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Ray.
Not dynamite, just.
Ray.
Sippy. He would have spoke up like an hour and a half ago. Through that.
Awesome.
Ray's the man with vision.
Said that poor internet again.
You know, putting dynamic next to rural takes the sleepiness away from rural,
Yeah.
right?
I thought we took rule out. Is it back in again?
You want that out?
I don't know whether everybody does. We want rural in or out.
Doesn't matter whether.
I
you
don't.
wanna take it out, you can take it out too.
Yeah.
I just like dynamic because it gives.
Yeah.
That's
I like them
right.
together.
It's a good one.
Yeah. Aspects of our.
I like them together as a dynamic rural.
That's
Like
fine.
we are rural.
That's fine. We are the.
Thank you, Ray.
Thank you.
Yes, well done, Ray.
Put the phone away.
Ray can vote now.
So when did we start?
The word that was there.
Doesn't matter.
Okay, are we good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're good.
That's good.
Okay. So Jill, just gonna ask you to make that change and the last strategy map, I guess, here we are. I can make that change. Here we are. We are. So we'll make that change in vision right here. So, okay, so all those changes are made. Here is
Oh,
your.
just a second. Sherry, you had,
Could I pose a question back to the vision? Vision statement?
Go ahead.
When you consider our customers and what we want them to say, residents, it was about the delivery of high value services, but I don't think we mentioned service. Like we say, ensure community attractiveness through environmental protection, attention to community aesthetics and economic development, but there's no reference to service delivery. And that's a big part of what we do.
It's
Okay.
really loud in your strategic imperative and in your customer line. So it does come out there, but if you want it to come out here as well, that's fine.
yeah.
Already there.
It's lofty to say we ensure community attractiveness. I'm not even sure what that means. Community attractiveness, is that the aesthetic? Because we do reference aesthetic as well.
So do you have a recommended change?
We ensure. So it says attention to community aesthetics, I think is really important, but it's the ensure community attractiveness I'm struggling with.
Well, then it follows with through all of those other things. Make the
To
attraction
achieve that,
It's attractive to be here.
through all of the other, like the attractiveness through environmental protection.
through.
Right.
Okay,
Through.
ensure community attractive through environment.
Through it.
Community aesthetics, okay.
Do you want to add service in here?
No.
No?
No. No, I see the point that you're making, which is delivery, achievement of that goal through those steps.
No, there's a different word that it's not promote.
The insure part of it, like,
Yeah.
no, but remote works.
Could take insure out and I don't know, no, there's nothing, that's a propagate. Wouldn't understand that.
That means it's final ops.
That's what I mean, so I think the guys that will understand.
Yeah, this is those things that you were talking about, Art, by changing that little word, so it looks pretty good, really.
Yeah, it's all right. Ask Ray, he'll come on.
I'm looking. But you look a little quicker.
Okay,
Yeah.
so so I think we have a strategy map, we have a balanced scorecard. Are there any questions about either of those two documents? And now that we've modified it, you'll receive them all in paper format as well. Or they'll get
That's
emailed to you.
That will be important.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay, Bob, just want to double check. We've been on here for 2 hours. Do we want to take a quick break, or I guess I should speak to the mayor about that? Do we want to take a quick break? And I do just talk to you about the planning cycle for a moment.
Yeah, maybe we could take a 10-minute break.
Take a 10-minute break? That sounds great.
All right.
Okay.
We'll try and stick to that a little after. There we go.
Any final thoughts on the balanced scorecard or the strategy map? Are you feeling comfortable?
Yeah, it's something to work with anyways.
Yeah, I hope it provides you with a great deal of clarity on where you're going as you move into the final years of your term. So before I close off the strategic planning work, I always like to talk about the planning cycle. And one of the things that is really important about the work that you've just done is that it doesn't get forgotten. So we need to make sure that the work stays live and that you're monitoring it on an annual basis. So I always recommend the development of a rolling strategy. So the rolling strategy basically says that every year you will take this strategy map and you will update it so that it's relevant for another 3 years. So it's a 3-year plan, but it doesn't time out. So you move it 3 years, 3 years, 3 years, 3 years. Now I know that that doesn't necessarily follow the election cycle, but for you then what you're doing is you're setting up the next council with a 3-year plan that they can take and modify if they want. But at least there's foresight and they know exactly where money is being allocated to, because of course it's your priorities. So this does not look like what you've just gone through, which has been a fairly major process. You don't want to have to repeat that every year. It looks like very much a meeting with council to review the strategy, update the strategy for the next 3 years. The ground zero approach that I call it a ground zero is what you just went through. You would probably do that about every 3 to 4 years, but you would then be also starting with a plan that was built. So really important then that gets built into your annual schedule. So I'm looking at you folks to tell me, I'm assuming that you have an annual schedule of meetings and what happens at which meeting throughout the year. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Okay. And within that annual schedule of meetings, would you then be able to say, okay, this is when we would do an update to the strategic plan? So let's say it's in April of every year or March of every year. Is there a way to fit that in?
Yep, we could build that into our calendar.
Okay, yeah, that's my recommendation. It makes it much easier to keep it live. It's on the schedule. Ultimately, what you want is a cycle that looks something like this. This is not yours. This is a template, and I'm happy to provide it to you. But just to provide clarity as to when council receives information on an item and when council approves an item. So
Awesome.
just going to change this to the strategic plan. So, of course, council approves the strategic plan on an annual basis. which is what we want to achieve through this process today. Following the approval of a strategic plan, typically leadership would prepare a preliminary budget. So Lionel and Bob would sit down, they'd go chat with management, find out what budget we need to implement the plan. The departments would build their plan. Maybe you need to do some tendering of work, so you know when those tenders are going to happen. One of the challenges with public or municipal operations is typically everybody launches their tenders at the same time, and then you don't end up getting the best prices. So you want to try and change that. Then departments or units within the organization build their operational plan, and they bring it and present it to each other inside the organization. We build the department plans. We build a 1-year strategy or 1-year operational plan, which is what has not been done yet for you folks. Is you'll be looking for Bob to develop a 1-year operational plan to support the strategy, and that would come to council for information. And then the budget would be attached to that plan, and that would come to council for approval. And then you would build individual work plans, and then you would have quarterly reporting and year-end reporting, and then go into the next strategic plan. So this is often what a municipal cycle looks like. It would need to be customized for you, but I didn't want to leave you without this information. The inputs that typically go into a strategic plan on an ongoing annual basis is an environmental scan. So an environmental scan just looks like what's going on out there. You know, what are our citizens telling us? What's our customer satisfaction survey telling us? So council will want to know what are the things that are happening around us that we might want to adjust. I'm assuming you have a risk register. That would also be an input annually to your plan. Some kind of a capital asset management plan, whether it's 10 years or 5 years. I'm not sure what yours is, but you would want to be looking at that on an ongoing basis. Then the past operational plan. So you would approve an operational plan on an annual basis, and you would look at the things that we got done and we didn't get done, and then that would feed into the next strategic plan. So it looks like there's a lot going on here, and there kind of is. What you want to do is just make sure that you build this into your annual calendar so that your plan doesn't get forgotten. Comments? Too much information?
There's a lot, but I think this is gonna be good. Like, coming halfway through this term, it's unfortunate we didn't have one of these to start the term, but that's where I think the bonus will be for the next term of council. That, like you say, they have a vision of what we were looking at. They may not agree with everything, but once the time comes, they don't have to start from ground zero. They can tweak it to their liking and carry on from there. Hopefully it's a better process than what we started with this term.
Yeah, and that's my hope for you too, is that you can have this built in and benefit from it for the next, you've got what, 2 more years left in your term?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can benefit from it over the next 2 years, and then those systems are in place for going forward. This is a best practice. Not everybody does it. The ones that do it tend to have more thoughtful operations. Any
Okay.
comments from anyone else?
You got anything, Bob? No. No. Sounds okay. It's been a long day.
It's been a long day. So I'm going to take you to the next step slide. So what needs to happen next? So we need to finalize the strategy map and the balance scorecards. So all of the edits that we made today, we will send that to you for your review. You need to think about a communication strategy for the strategic plan. So do you want to put it on your website? Do you want to, how much of it do you want to make public? Certainly, the strategy map itself is built in a way that's intended to be for public consumption. The balance scorecard is not. The balance scorecard is built for internal. So those measures and targets, those should be yours and not necessarily publicly put onto your website. So I think you want to think about that. The survey instruments to help you measure need to be developed. And you can't really get going on those measures until they are. It's not hard. So building those is not difficult. It's just about getting it done. And then I think probably the biggest piece of work for Bob and his team is now he can build the operational plan, which then feeds into the budget. So the cycle that I just showed you, he and his team can start to build that operational plan to execute on the strategy that's been put together. And I'll provide Bob with a tool for how to do that is completely aligned with the strategy map. So it flows out of that. And it just makes it really easy for council to say, hey, Bob, like, you know, what are we doing on this box in the strategy map? What are we doing? And Bob will be able to pull that up really easily in an Excel sheet. That is a tool that I'll give him.
You know Excel.
Oh, yeah.
That's kind of it, unless there's any final questions.
Okay, any questions for Val?
Val, it's Bev. This is my first experience with a strategy, but I can't even say it, with the plan. You made it very simple, very easy for us, and I thank you for that. And thank you for my not so great questions sometimes.
Well, you know, I think one of the things we have to keep in mind is that when councillors get elected, a lot of this is new. They might not have ever been part of a strategic planning process in the past. And so making it simple is what I really try to do, Bev. I appreciate your comment because it is what I try to do. There's so much more that we can do, but you know, by little bites are good. Let's just go with little bites on this and get as much done as we can in the short term.
Any other questions?
Can we go over the vision statement?
No.
I just had a couple thoughts.
Art really likes talking about.
I had a couple thoughts when I was outside having a cigarette.
He's had a vision while he took a break. So
It comes after the meeting.
We got
Okay.
that fixed, fix that for us.
Okay, Val, well, thanks for today, then I guess if that's it, and we'll look forward to the next part of it here to get this implemented.
You bet. Thank you all for having me. Appreciate it. Hopefully we'll get a chance to work together again. And thanks, Jill, for your support in the background. We'll get this to you ASAP.
Thanks, Valerie.
Yeah.
Thanks, Val. Thanks, Jill.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks, Jill.
Yep. Yeah. Adjournment, you want to vote together?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so Deputy Mayor Webb is on the confirming end adjournment and somebody's second. Counselor Glenn is seconding. All in favor? Carried. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.